Vocabulary pre-assessment. Type your first and last name. Choose the hour you have English class. First, second, sixth, seventh, eighth. What does the word evident mean? To find out, easily seen or understood, obvious, information used to solve something, or someone or something that affects an event. What does the word evident mean? Next question. What does the word factor mean? Someone or something that has an effect on an event, a process, or a situation. Something that is true or proven about an event, a process, or a situation. Concerned with a particular thing, also precise or exact. Alike in appearance or nature. What does the word factor mean? Which sentence uses the word indicate correctly? The tornado indicate bad weather. I indicate that I am the best at soccer. To indicate where students should write their name, the teacher pointed to it. To indicate, I walked through the door. Which sentence uses the word indicate correctly? What does specific mean? Concerned with a particular thing, also precise or exact. Alike in appearance or nature. Easy to tell apart from others, not alike. Surroundings, the condition that surrounds someone or something. What does specific mean? Which sentence uses the word benefit correctly? I benefited the world by recycling. I benefit me by eating vegetables. You must benefit by doing jumping jacks. Exercise benefits a person's health. What does distinct mean? A condition or fact that affects an event. Meaningful or important. To show or clarify by examples or comparing. Easy to tell apart from others, not alike. What does distinct mean? What does illustrate mean? To point out, also to serve as a sign or symbol of something. To show or clarify by examples or comparing. easy to tell apart from others, not alike in appearance or nature. What does illustrate mean? What does circumstance mean? Something or someone that limits or restricts another's actions. Someone or something that has an effect on an event, a process, or a situation. A condition or fact that affects an event. Meaningful, important. What does circumstance mean? Which sentence uses the word constraint correctly? I constrained myself by not doing my homework. The man constrained his job by not following the rules. A constraint in school is to walk on the right side of the hallway. The teacher constrained by telling the kid not to stand on a chair. Which sentence uses the word constraint correctly? What does impact mean? To hurt or cause damage. Something striking against another, also the effect or impression of one thing or another. Meaningful, important. A condition or fact that affects an event. What does impact mean? What does appropriate mean? Not acceptable for a particular situation. An accepted source, such as a person or text of expert information or advice. Suitable or acceptable for a particular situation, person, place, or condition. An example that is cited to prove or disprove a claim or illustrate a point. What does appropriate mean? What does authority mean? An accepted source, such as a person or text of expert information or advice. Permitted by law, of, related to, or concerned with law. Suitable or acceptable for a particular situation, person, place, or condition. To demonstrate or prove to be just, right, reasonable, or valid. What does authority mean? Which sentence uses the word justify correctly? She justified her answer by explaining it. Since the weather was cold, it justified that I wear a jacket. Since the weather was cold, it justify that I wear a jacket. The rain justify I need an umbrella. Which sentence uses the word justify correctly? What does principal mean? The leader of a school, a rule or standard, especially of good behavior, a natural result or consequence, a single human being apart from a society or community. What does principal mean? Which sentence uses the word outcome correctly? To outcome the breaking of the rules, I got a detention. I outcomed the race as a winner. I studied for my test and the outcome was that I did well. I got a lunch detention to outcome my choice. Which sentence uses the word outcome correctly? What does achieve mean? To perform or carry out with success, accomplish. A natural result or consequence. A rule or standard, especially of good behavior. A single human being apart from a society or community. What does achieve mean? What does emphasize mean? The passing down of various elements of a culture from generation to generation. Important to, connected to, or significant to an issue. To point out using examples. To give something special importance or meaning. What does emphasize mean? What does occur mean? To perform or carry out with success. To give something special importance or attention. To take place, happen. A natural result or consequence. What does occur mean? Which sentence uses the word relevant correctly? I relevant the information by underlining it. My question was relevant to the class discussion. I am not relevant to English. The teacher relevant the test scores. Which sentence uses the word relevant correctly? What is the definition of a prefix? A word part attached to the beginning of a word. A word part attached to the end of a word. A word part that contains a core meaning of the word. A word part that fixes something. What is the definition of a prefix? What is the definition of a root? A word part attached to the beginning of a word. A word part attached to the end of a word. A word part that contains a core meaning of the word. A word part that talks about a tree. What is the definition of a root? What is the definition of a suffix? A word part attached to the beginning of a word. A word part attached to the end of a word. A word part that contains a core meaning of the word. A word part that fixes something. What is the definition of a suffix?